everyone, this is Angela, and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. So, there's this BBL smell rumor that has been trending on social media, and it began on TikTok, I believe, with this guy's particular face at the center of it. You can also see him posted in the Daily Mail UK's paper. So let's watch and then I'll come back with my commentary.
Yeah, those BBLs be stinking. So you guys may have seen this online that BBL smells is trending. And there are a lot of reasons for that smell, but I think that I will tell you guys a story about a girl that I dated, and I took her out. She had a BBL. Her body looked crazy good. Like, she had it done right. Her whole body looked amazing. So we linked up and we went out, had a really good time. We went to a Lakers game and then went to a spot by LA Live and had some dinner. Had a really good time. And so she was like, "So what you trying to do?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go back to my place and relax, have a nightcap and see where it takes us." So we drive back to my spot. And so light the candles, get the music going, open up a bottle of champagne, and we sitting there and we're having a nice vibe. And, we started getting into it and everything, and clothes started to come off. And she wanted to give me a little show. So she was like, "Just stand right there." And so, like, she took off everything very seductively and got on my bed and started twerking that thing, right? And I was like, what the hell? Because at this point, she got nothing on. And I smelled this smell and it hits my nose. Shit was like a salt of my nose. I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm like, baby, not to be rude, but I know we had a long day. You're not smelling that fresh down there. I think you need to get into the shower and go ahead and freshen up. And she looked at me so embarrassed. I did it as gently as I could, but what I realized is if someone has had a normal size behind for all of their life, and then they switch up and now they got this big BBL, they have to reach back there and really clean. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not used to doing that, they might not know that, hey, you sweat differently. Everything is different when you add that much more meat back there. That thing can't breathe as good. And so she ended up getting in the shower and everything. I had everything that she needed. And I ended up clapping them cheeks. And it was much better. But some people, the smell, I think her smell was coming from just not being able to get back there and clean properly. But some people's smell is coming from what the excretions and what's coming out with the fat that they've actually put in to their bodies. So, BBLs for me is just for fun. Those women are for fun. Like, you can't take women with BBLs, in my opinion, to parent teacher conferences. They big old ass knocking over the little kids' crayons and stuff as they try to walk through the parent teachers conferences in them small ass classrooms. That's not really for me. That's for fun. That's for, weekend fun. Wifey material is just regular, natural women that you can build a family with and give a great life to. But that's one of my stories on BBLs. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments.
Okay, you all, I'm back, so let's go in. So as you can see, I went to the site for the Jim Crow Museum, the website, where they go into detail to discuss common anti-Black image stereotypes, especially those pertaining to Black women, such as the Sapphire. And the Sapphire character would be like your Pam or your Shanae character from Martin, or Aunt Esther from Sanford and Son, the sassy types. Or the Mammy character played by Hattie McDaniel in Gone with the Wind. And then there are the Jezebel characters, which can be divided into two subcategories. when they talk about the Jezebel. And one is the pathetic Jezebel, and the other one is the exotic Jezebel. Okay. So we're going to be kind of like centered on the Jezebel characterization and so forth. So the Jezebel was the label to both accuse and also categorize Black women as being overtly sexual. And this was used from the times of slavery and through the times of Jim Crow to dehumanize her, depart her image from any relationship to womanhood, to motherhood, as well as to deny her rights. So, as far as the different Jezebel categories, like I said, there is the pathetic or the pathetic other Jezebel, and this person was often depicted as a woman or a girl of a darker complexion, fuller figured, with 4C hair, with a wider nose and thicker lips, someone who would resemble like a Kelly Rowland. And there is the exotic other Jezebel. Exotic other is the actual label of the category. So, and that will be the one who had more Eurocentric features, including a lighter complexion, especially a complexion that was lighter than a brown paper bag, someone who had loosely coiled or straight hair, and especially someone who did not speak Ebonics, someone who would look more like a Beyonce, a Halle Berry, or so on. And listen, before Beyonce's internet come for me, I was just using their features as an example. I'm not calling either of these wonderful women Jezebels in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So, going back to what I was saying, what this obsoleting, meaning they're in the process of becoming obsolete. Okay. So, what this obsoleting Pookie over here is attempting to do is to juggle women that he can no longer access into being seen as the pathetic Jezebel who will strip tease on the first date and whose cheeks he can clap, which, by the way, clapping cheeks is a prison phrase used to describe men who are intimate with other men. Hmm. He even said it towards the end when he said that the women with the BBLs are basically to play and toy around with, but the woman who is considered all natural is to be wifey material. Or in other words, he's trying to say that the BBL women are to be seen as the pathetic other Jezebel. Meanwhile, the natural women are to be seen as the exotic other Jezebel. A bit of Madonna horror complex going on with him too, from what I could see. So, and I know very well the diversity of women who've gotten BBLs. However, they were surgically attempted to achieve a figure that many women of African descent have genetically. So, by aiming at the women who surgically enhance their figures through BBLs, it is like aiming at the source of the aesthetic, which is the Black woman. He's trying to set the stage to return the average woman, especially the Black woman, into the bottomless quagmire of desperation that caused someone like the highly talented and legendary rapper Lil Kim to go so far as to surgically alter her overall appearance in her quest to be loved, validated, and accepted by these Pookies and Ray Rays who still to this day only saw her as nothing more than a resource, not as a human being or a lady. This is how a lot of women were before the dawn of the natural hair movement. And I exposed these Pookies and Ray Rays in a video that I uploaded about 6 months ago. Let's watch, and then I'll be back.
When they realized that they were also losing access to the same quote unquote masculine Black women, you know, the darker, unambiguous Black woman with type 4 hair, and worse, that there were non-Black men who were marrying them, treating them like ladies, and actually treating them like women and wives. That, y'all, that's when the Black male switched up and started worshiping dark-skinned, natural hair Black women. And they even went so far as to start attacking the very preferences that they used to worship. They were going over there, oh, your skin is too light. Oh, you ain't thick enough in the hips. Your hair texture is too loose. They switched it up. And see, none of these Black males knew about the AOL group and did not realize that we understood their game from all angles. And we would often laugh about the irony of it all. I mean, my goodness, I was there to witness it, and I still can't believe it. How they switched up. How they switched up. They went from Martin Lawrence, BDB, to Pam. You know, they went from that, and these mofos, okay? They went from worshiping light skin, loose curly hair, okay? And threatening us by saying, oh, I'll just get a white woman, okay? They went from that to talking about how they want the Hershey chocolate complexion having woman. The very woman that they used to make fun of just because she was darker skinned. It did not matter if her skin was smooth like velvet.
Okay, I'm back. I shared my experience of being an active participant in the natural hair movement before it was hijacked. It is the second video in a playlist on my channel where I pointed out that Black women were swelling and divesting before it would later become an active movement on its own. The swell and divestment movement, that is. And this was back during the time when it was still being called jungle fever. I pointed out some of the things that led up to Black women swelling and divested included the individual woman herself accepting her God-given features as is. She didn't need to straighten her hair, lighten her skin. She didn't need to do any of that. And when she accepted herself as is, it led to her finding people who supported her too, as is. And this is more often than not with people who are outside of the Black community, who treated her as a human being on equal footing with themselves. So, as more so called pathetic Jezebel stereotypes left the ghetto, they found themselves being accepted as is, genuinely appreciated for and beyond their natural physical beauty, being respected and validated, especially by the white community, as well as other communities too, Latino, Arab, go down to African, um, continental African, and so forth. And this sent panic with the Pookies and Ray Rays in Blackistan. This was around the time of the late 90s and the early 2000s when Jagged Edge was wearing do-rags and baggy t-shirts or, they little white t-shirts, depending on, which day of the week it was. And they were wearing their jeans and baseball caps. It was art imitating life. And coincidentally, they came out with that song, Meet Me at the Altar in Your White Dress. Let's get married. How you gonna go from being down with OPP back in 1991? You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Naughty by nature. It's naughty by nature, not because I hate you. That was back in 1991. And then in 1994, Teddy Riley and Blackstreet, it's just a booty call. The song even starts off, yo, fellas, if we proper call the girls from the hotel room at 2 in the morning, is that or is that not a booty call? Can you help me? And then after that, you hear the chorus, it's just a booty call. It's just a booty call. So that was back in 1994, right? Well, see, during the time of the natural hair movement, Black women were turning these dudes down. So by 2000, let's get married. Meet me at the altar in your white dress. And when you look at the Jagged Edge video, dude look like he's desperate and in a hurry to get married too. As if they don't do it in the next 2 minutes, he might take his last breath where he stands. See, like I said, that was because the women who were deemed to be unattractive in the Black community, the so-called pathetic Jezebels or the pathetic others, okay, were now becoming the it girls outside of the Black community. They were leveling up and everything, and that meant no more booty calls, no more free legacies by getting the girl pregnant, baby trapping her, and leaving her and the baby to fend for Section 8 and food stamps. No more dealing with him occasionally popping up, coming back around conveniently around income tax season to pretend like he want to be with her. He gonna spend Valentine's Day with her, knock her up again, and meanwhile, she's feeling good because she finally got an infusion of money. So she's buying steak and shrimp on her own tax return dime, buying into his lying remorse, you know, and it goes good for a couple months before he breaks up with her again by summer. So all of that was ending for the Pookies and the Ray Rays, and they were panicking, no different than what they are now. So back then, back in the early 2000s and the late 90s, the Pookies had to figure out how to put a stop to it. Sort of what they're trying to do now, because that's Section 8 and food stamps by proxy, okay? Because they couldn't take their big grown butts to the food stamp office and talk about I don't want to work, I'm lazy, so I need somebody to take care of me. So no, what their scheme was to get some poor innocent woman pregnant and then not provide for her so that she can genuinely go seeking help and then come back around, play games with her, and gain access to the Section 8 and food stamps that way. Because that, Section 8 and those food stamps by proxy and pretending to want to be a dad to their kids and stringing the woman along, year after year, knowing good and well that they were not going to marry her. See, those were the only things that the Pookies and the Ray Rays had going for them. And when the black woman leaves, all of that goes with her. So they had to act fast in either one of two ways. The first one was, hey, to come up with wedding rings, wedding ceremonies, houses, cars, and to be able to earn enough of an income to support their entire family while the woman can stay at home and raise the family if she chooses to do so, and so forth. Well, Pookie couldn't pull that kind of weight, at least not legally. You have to sell quite a few kilos for that. And on top of it, his bullying tactics, to lower her self esteem, abusing her by talking about her nappy hair, her big lips, and dark skin, so she will act like a little Kim and do desperate things for his attention and his approval and his validation. That was no longer working either. So Pookie and Ray Ray, along with their bottom chicks, infiltrated the natural hair movement. Much like now, it's the Pookies and the Ray Rays and a few of their bottom chicks who are out here talking about, BBL smells. Listen, what the heck does another woman care about what another woman is doing with her booty unless she wants it? Say I'm a heterosexual woman. I know how we move. I'm not knocking those who are not. I'm just saying we ain't all up in another woman's business like that because we are not attracted to that. So don't think I ain't seeing what's going on with them either. See, going back to the natural hair movement, they were losing their scapegoats rapidly, the pathetic Jezebels, and they had to find a way to put a stop to it. They first appeared as allies, but then they hijacked the natural hair movement and destroyed its essence to the core. The first thing that Pookie made sure to do was to turn the women that he would formerly place into the pathetic other Jezebel category into the exotic other Jezebel. So he did a category flip. Now, just to be clear, women at the time did not realize that Pookie and Ray were still seeing them as Jezebels. However, he started treating the darker complexion woman with 4C hair and a full figure as an exotic lady. And he instantly flipped the script on those women who were once considered the exotics and threw them into the pathetic Jezebel category. This played a role to some extent into women behaving like little Kim, getting all kinds of nose jobs, boob jobs, and getting BBLs in an effort to capture their gaze, their validation, and their approval. However, because Pookie put the twerking booties into his rapping videos, okay, and hip hop is worldwide, twerking has become a universal dance to some extent. Okay, back to what I was saying earlier. Since everyone and their grandmother's grandmother is twerking now, the slavery and Jim Crow era Jezebel stereotypes can't stick anymore like they used to. So Pookie is once again back to where he was more than 25 years ago, except he has less weapons. Him and his bottom chicks can't infiltrate the swirl and divestment movements like they once did with the natural hair movement. As a matter of fact, real talk, some of his bottom chicks that abandoned him, okay, they've seen the writing on the wall. They realize that this is a watershed moment, and they have tiptoed themselves over here into the divestment movement and to divestment spaces, and they over here trying to blend in. I see y'all over here at the restaurants asking about what a horse the overs, a horse the overs, and not knowing that it's pronounced hors d'oeuvres. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Now look, if you genuinely swirling and divesting and you knew, and you really are trying to level up, I'm not coming for you with what I just said. I'm coming for the ones that used to call us bougie and weird and all that kind of stuff because we wanted to see life beyond Blackistan and we were adventurous and we were exploring. So they used to make fun of us. Now who's over here talking about some horse duvers, and it's pronounced hors d'oeuvres. So what he is doing, as I've shown you in a video more than 6 months ago, is an old trick of throwing the women out of the exotic Jezebel category. So 25 years ago, the dark-skinned, full-figured, big bottom, big busted, thick lip, wide-nosed black woman was put into the exotic category. Now he's trying to put them back into the pathetic category. And anybody who tried to approximate her figure, okay, and her appearance. And it's an old trick from a quarter of a century ago. And he's trying to put them back in the pathetic category because that will work in his favor of attracting some womb wetness his way. Since he's unable to compete on equal footing with other men who have their own communities, have their own education systems, business and banking systems, are able to generate wealth and so forth, what he is doing is the only thing he knows how to do, and that is creating chaos. He won't build, but he's quick to tear down. You see, I can go and find housewives in Jose's community, in Brad's community, in Chung Lee's communities. I could easily find women who are stay-at-home moms in Kumar's community, in Kunta's community, in Abdul's community, and so forth. But it's rare to find a black man who is a total, by black man, I mean African-American man, who is a total incomplete provider to his wife and his family. They are out there, but they are rare. They are rare, and they are a dying breed. And the few black men who are not in agreement with Pookie and Ray Ray, do you notice are being unalived at high rates right now? Have you noticed the Poindexter side? Have you noticed the number of guys that, these are the ones that they used to call Poindexters, the nerds, the young men who want to be, who went to school and said, okay, I'm going to become an accountant. I'm going to become a doctor, an engineer. I'm going to work in computer science and so forth. The young men who are getting sports scholarships to attend college, the young men who have a bright future ahead of them. Haven't you noticed how more and more of them are being unalived by their slightly older Pookie and Ray Ray peers? See, we are here in the middle of a true male mating competition. And I believe by this upcoming summer 2024, we will see it explode even more than before. So what Pookie is over here doing is taking advantage of the fact that a lot of you are not aware of what is truly going on. And he's manipulating things so that he can baby trap a woman who will be so desperate that she'll have to get on Section 8 and food stamps so that he can rob another man of resources by proxy through eating up the kids' cereal, going through their SpaghettiOs and drinking up all of their Capri Suns while living in a cramped Section 8 apartment.
Don't be nowhere. I gotta sit there in and out the store. It's hot. I gotta sit there, get her hair done. Daycare expensive. You barely help with that. You don't help with no bills in this house. We living on Section 8. What are you here for? I don't want to do this alone. You wanted this kid. You sat there on your knees, crying, begging, snotting. Okay, because you said you was gonna be here.
Oh, all right, and I'm here. So why are we
You're
going
here
through this?
arguing with me, but you're not here when it counts. You're not here when it counts. So I don't want her. So you can either go pick her up from your mother's house, or she'll be at the fire station next week, and I'm gonna be in Miami next somewhere.
Oh, in Miami. So that's more important.
Yeah.
That's
I
more
wanna live
important.
my life. I don't want no kid.
You know.
You wanted this kid. You said you was gonna be here. You was gonna
And that's what I'm doing.
No, you're not.
Look, y'all see her? Y'all see this right now?
You probably
y'all see how she's sounding right now?
2 hours a week.
Do y'all witness this right here? Oh my God, you
Nobody
sound so
better
pathetic. Oh my God, you sound so pathetic. Oh my God, you sound so pathetic. You know what I mean? You doing the thing, the essential things that a mother's supposed to.
Okay, what is a father supposed to do?
What you mean? I go work.
You don't be nowhere. I gotta take her in and out the store.
And on a final note, did you notice that this Pookie didn't specify the kind of woman that he was dating, whose cheeks smelled so bad that she had to go to the shower? However, he never described a pregnant woman stinking. And if anyone should stink according to his logic, it would be a pregnant woman due to her hormonal changes, her exceedingly rapid growth, not only of her pregnant belly, but of the spreading of her hips to accommodate the birth of the baby. He did not describe a teen girl because that's illegal. But again, using his logic, we're talking about someone who's going through bodily changes as a result of puberty, some of which can be rapid, and they're still learning how to properly cleanse and deodorize themselves. Or perhaps considering that they went to see a basketball game as the first date, then afterwards, they immediately pay attention to the behavior. First, they went to a sports event. Okay, let's focus on the behavior here. And then afterwards, according to him, they immediately went to his place, and she was willing to do a sort of strip tease immediately for him. And the only reason why I say that, because he mentioned that she became naked. Most biological women don't move that quickly. And the ones that do are usually in the escorting profession, and escorts tend to know how to manage themselves hygienically between each client. So, additionally, things have become slower in the dating pool since Roe versus Wade was overturned. But let's just say that this supposed date happened prior to the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Still, most biological women are not that quick to jump from going on a date to going to a man's place. And on top of it, for her to smell that bad, this smell would have been there long before she stripped naked and started twerking. Chances are high, you all, that this Pookie may have been with a trans woman. And no, I'm not trying to throw shade at the rainbow community. I'm just saying that biological women typically don't behave like this. It doesn't appeal to us to have to go to a game and sit through a game before we go to dinner. Some will, a very few handfuls, but the overwhelming majority of us, that's not appealing to us. Not only that, biological women don't typically move so quickly from on the first date, especially from, you know, let's go to your place. Now I'm a strip tease. Now I'm gonna be all up in your bed twerking, you know. And what woman do you know who knows that she's about to be intimate with someone? I'm talking about somebody who may be married with her husband. It's just the two of them. Maybe they're on vacation. They've been spending all day together, and she's not excusing herself to the bathroom at first. Since when? However, in the rainbow community, it's not uncommon for there to be a short time from meeting in person to engage in intimacy amongst those who are biologically male. And there are plenty of biologically male rainbow people who are saying the same thing. So it's not just coming from me. They're the ones who cruise. And they do breeding parties, and some of them are into sniffing bottoms. That's their thing. So the trans lady could have been saving up some booty cheek aroma, thinking that he would be attracted to it because some of them actually are. And that's according to them, not according to me. I'm just saying, being on a date with a trans woman, then it would make sense that a person who was not born biologically female, who did not go through girlhood or puberty, but one day had a surgery that feminized her body overnight, would now need to be more aware of how their curves can trap odors if they've never had curves before. And they've never had anyone who has curves to give them that intimate advice along the way. I'm just saying. This is especially true if the trans woman still has the masculine package intact. They still have their manly bits. See, our feminine biology as women is highly prone to infection. So we are aware of the things that we need to do in order to keep down there clean. There are even commercials that market feminine hygiene products. So if you have a girl or a woman who grew up in a situation where those things were not being discussed, then just by simply watching a few commercials, you'll be able to absorb that information. He also neglected, because he wouldn't know this because he's not a woman, he neglected to speak about how women socialize with one another. There's no way that a woman would smell that bad and another woman did not at least try to let her know, usually an older woman to a younger woman, what she could do to correct it. Because again, people have come from different experiences. Most of all, because a biological woman's body is prone to developing infections when compared to a biological man's body, a medical professional would have advised her at some point in time in her life about her biology and the mechanisms and what she needs to do in order to keep it clean and healthy. There's no way that she would smell that bad and the doctor and the nurse or other healthcare professionals would not let her know that this ain't normal, what's going on with her, and also what she could do to better take care of herself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I believe that Pookie with the blurry eyeglasses that have weighed down the cartilage in his nose and is giving it the little squished appearance is lying through his teeth, or at the barest minimum, he was dealing with a trans woman who is still learning how to properly take care of down there on a newly feminized body, when unlike us biological women, he still has a package that is amplifying the odor. And I'm saying that with empathy, not to play childish games like the Spooky in this video. And whether or not the woman he's referring to that he went on a date in his little story that he told is a trans woman, social media is not the place to come and embarrass her as a segue for throwing women with BBLs into the pathetic other Jezebel category from the times of slavery and Jim Crow, as well as a way to abuse their rainbow partners by manipulating the masses. No different than Mrs. Don't Say It Gay, hashtag Moms for Liberty herself, Bridget Ziegler. You see, some of the rainbow community like to manipulate the cracks in the heterosexual community in order to use our numbers to abuse their fellow rainbow members, while at the same time mass consuming heterosexual resources. They will go into moderate heterosexual spaces and flip the outliers into being extremists when the entire time they themselves are a member of the same rainbow community, an active one at that. Uh-huh. However, that is a topic for another day. And don't you dare come for me, because I grew up having rainbow relatives who were out of the closet during the time back in the day when it was dangerous to be out of the closet. So I know what the heck I'm seeing. I don't have a problem with those who are out of the closet at all. But some of the closet people got issues. And I'm not saying every closet person has issues. Listen, there are people that are in the closet who are chill, they're discreet. For instance, they may be married, okay, but their spouse knows who they are. However, their coworkers may not know who they are. So they just stay in the closet on their coworkers so that their business is not there out in the street like that. Listen, I don't have a problem with you, okay, because it's not about your orientation. I don't have a problem with you personally and how you are discreet in your closet, so long as you let the people that need to know what they need to know. It's not you, it's some other folks, the ones like Bridget Ziegler with her strong jawline, and potentially this Pookie over here with his fluffy lips, who said he went on a date in one of the most gayest places on the planet, LA. They're the type that will bully other gays by threatening to out them. They be beating them up, knowing that they have nowhere else to go because their family has disowned them. Yes, honey. You see, my grandmother, my great grandmother, may she rest in peace, she had a spare home that ended up becoming like an informal shelter for the gays in the area where they could find peace. They found acceptance amongst us heteros, okay, who just saw them as human beings on equal footing, while it was the other abusive rainbow people, like I suspect this Pookie and this Bridget Ziegler's, those type of rainbow people are the reason why there's so much chaos in the rainbow community. And it be spilling over here onto the straight side. So not on my watch, Pookie. No. Full bottom women, whether or not they're natural or have BBLs, they are not Jezebels of any sort. And I will not sit up here and watch you with your untrimmed beard, your overgrown mustache touching your top lip, and your outdated flea market version of a Coral Kanai denim jacket try to sit up here and play Jedi mind tricks by using heterosexual numbers to manipulate and abuse members of the rainbow community. Because while he's simultaneously trying to put biological women with BBLs back into the pathetic Jezebel category, you best believe that he's trying to slam the trans woman back into her closet now that she's out and about. He can't abuse her the way that he used to. Remember, they were all up in the Cheesecake Factory saga because biological women said no to it. But didn't he say that he went to the Lakers game? How much are those tickets? Then went to a restaurant and then popped some champagne. Who pops champagne without naming it, y'all? Since when? Was it Dom Perignon? Was it Ace of Spades? Was it some Cristal? See, this Pookie thinks we're stupid. And he's trying to figure out how to get us biological women at a discount while also dating his real preference, a trans woman. But like I said, I did say that was a topic for another day. So that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Take care until next time.